called Careers in Generative AI and its Future. So I would like to actually introduce our guest speaker for this session, Mr. Swapnil Srivastava. He is a manager in data science at Kyndryll. Mr. Swapnil is actually an industry expert with rich experience in AI strategy, data science, agile methodologies, and he knows how to leverage the new capabilities in artificial intelligence in the service industry. With such a vast experience, I would actually like to request Mr. Swapnil to share his experience and insights on what is generative AI, how does it work, and how can students leverage it to make an impact in their careers. So I would like to hand this session over to Mr. Swapnil.
Hey, thank you so much, Adarsham. Hi to everyone. First of all, quick check if I'm audible or not.
Yeah, you are clearly.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So, thank you so much for the introduction, Adarsham. Just a quick summary about my work career. I finished my master's in MBA from Alliance University back in 2014. And after that, I have been part of two companies. The first company was Tech Mahindra, where I worked as a data analyst and moved into your role of sales operations analyst. After that, I joined IBM. And in IBM, I again started as a lead data analyst. And from there, I moved up in career till right now, I'm working as a manager for data science team. So I have seen this entire industry grow from initial stages where you used to code on R, used to work on Excel sheets, which is still I do. And from there onwards, I have seen that how the industry is growing more towards your generative AI, where the backend is being worked upon in many languages, but Python being the most prominent language. So in today's session, I'm going to take you through this journey where I'll talk on the generative AI aspect, which is right now hot topic in the market. And what is generative AI, as Adarsh mentioned, right? And take you that how you can leverage generative AI in your while you're studying, while you're working, and also how to be a developer in the field of generative AI. So that is my goal. Plus the future, we'll talk about the future where, right now there's a lot happening in the field of generative AI. So how the future looks like. Before that, I just want to understand what is the audience, like audience is entirely freshers, Adarsham, or they are working professionals also?
I expect the audience to be a mixed kind of audience, wherein
Okay.
some are actually have experience and many of them are, most of them are freshers. Yes.
Okay, great. Uh, okay, so I want this session to be interactive. Please feel free to stop me in between, ask questions. I will be also trying to engage you with few questions. So just, feel free to ask questions in between and let's get started. So the first question that comes into everyone's mind for this session is, what is generative AI? From the audience, uh, any answer anyone would like to uh, tackle this question, that what is generative AI, or if you have any understanding of generative AI? Okay.
Artificial intelligence that can generate an independent thing from the previous provided context.
Your voice was
Anshuman,
breaking,
could you
but what
speak
I,
louder?
yeah.
Anshuman, could you speak louder? Your voice was not clearly audible.
Okay, what I heard was artificial intelligence. Okay. Anyone else?
We have some good answers in the chat box too. Some are saying like they're generating response using the previous data. Kushal Bhargav is saying LLM based model to generate new content. Biswaraj Chaudhary is saying anything contextually meaningful generated by LLM.
Great. I think really that means that the audience is having a background of it. So yes, generative AI, as the term says, it generates content based on the historical data on which it is trained. Now, the difference between previous models that we had in past versus what we have it now is that the previous models were not generic in nature. So for example, if I'm training a model to do sales forecast, it will only give me sales forecast. It is also predictive in nature, but it is only going to give me a sales forecast. Whereas if I have trained a model to, let's say, identify if a tumor is a cancerous tumor or non-cancerous tumor, right? So that is the only use case of that model. Now, as and when uh, the large language models were trained, first it was trained by OpenAI, and they released the GPT model last year, I think 2022 sometime. What happened that we saw that one model can be used for multiple purposes. I can ask the same model to create content for me for, let's say, having a product branding strategy in place. The same model can help me to write a code. The same model can help me to create an image, right? So that is the I think that's the good part of generative AI that came, that one model is being used for multiple purposes, right? So generative AI is a subset of artificial intelligence. It is not like entirely a entire AI. No, it's still a subset of artificial intelligence that uses machine learning techniques to generate new data, and that data is generated on the basis of historical data, which is a large language model is trained on. uh, it uses various different AI techniques. So by any chance, do you guys know what is the backend architecture of a generative AI or a GPT model?
So
Anyone
neural
know?
networks, it works.
It is neural networks, yes, but any specific
We,
neural
we have
network?
multiple people answering transformers.
Exactly, yes. So quickly, neural networks again. So I can draw it like this if you really want to have a pictorial diagram. This is the universe, right, which is your AI. Now, inside AI, you have multiple algorithms available, and in that, there is a subset of neural, sorry, it is a little catchy today. Okay, neural nets, right? And inside this neural nets, there is a subset called transformers. So transformers are the backend of your GPT models, any GPT model, right? So the AI technique that is being used is transformers. Who developed these transformers? Does anyone know that? Oh, which is the parent? Google. Yes, Google is the parent company of transformers. Now, this generative AI technique is being used in multiple areas, but right now we are seeing that there are multiple models that are coming up. There are few prominent players in this area. The first one is OpenAI. Next one is Google. Can anyone name a third prominent player in the field of generative AI? Anthropic. Anthropic, yes, exactly. Anthropic. So now OpenAI has their GPT, or they call it as ChatGPT. Google has what?
Gemini, and Anthropic has Claude.
Exactly. So Google has Gemini and Anthropic has Claude. Claude. So Claude, we have the latest version is 3. Gemini, they are still working out, but they are 1.5 or I think recently, yesterday or day before yesterday, they also released a new model. And ChatGPT, now we have the latest model is 4.0. O is for Omni. Good. So any doubts in case of generative AI, what exactly generative AI is? Okay. I want to quickly show you something interesting for people who have not explored and give you a few. Okay, is my screen is still visible? No, right?
No, not.
No, sir.
Okay, just give me a second. I have to reshare. So this is the UI interface of GPT. Recently, GPT 4.0, which is Omni, got released. And then you can see that I have GPT-4 and I have access to GPT 3.5. GPT 3.5 access is freely available to everyone, whereas GPT-4 and GPT-4o is a paid version. It costs around somewhere around $23, though it is $20 plus taxes, it is $23 per month. So you can explore it. Now, here I can prompt for anything and I can get the answers. So as I was saying, right, the power of generative AI is it can provide me answer in any context that I want, but the caveat is that I need to recheck the answer is correct or not, right? For instance, let's say I'm going to ask GPT about how to make paneer butter masala. And asking it to show it with images. So here it is going to tell me the entire recipe of paneer butter masala, and at the end it will also create me few images. By any chance you guys know which model is being used to create images?
Mid-journey.
Here it is DALL-E.
Okay.
Yeah, here it is DALL-E, DALLE. Okay, so it has given me an entire recipe. It has also given me different prompts to create the images, which further can help me to sort of, uh, prepare paneer butter masala, right? So I can ask GPT, it's a general model. I can ask it for do anything. I usually use GPT a lot in while I'm working because I'm a data scientist. I work on a lot of proposals. I work on a lot of ideas. So I use GPT a lot while in my day-to-day work. And now it is my go-to tool whenever I'm, in a brainstorming phase. I just put my thoughts on a prompt and the GPT starts giving me inputs and ideas, and I use those inputs and ideas to further enhance and then create proposals, right? So I'll show you that use case as well. But here is what I wanted to show that, that GPT-4 or GPT-3 is very powerful tool which can help us to do anything and everything that we want information about. Now, moving to the next chart. So we can design our career based on how we want to see ourselves. There are two career paths that we can design using generative AI. One is, let me go back. So the first one is first career path that comes is as a, let's say you are in a role of consultant. right? Or you are a business research person, right? So these two career paths are something, or similar career paths are something where you will be using generative AI. Or it can be in consultant, you can have many, you can be a financial consultant, you can be a marketing consultant, you can be a business consultant, right? Or you can be a business and research, or you can be in, let's say, uh, data analytics, right? So all of these are uh, areas where you should know how to use generative AI to increase your efficiency and to be on top of whatever you are doing, right? For instance, let's say I am a marketing professional, and every day my day-to-day job is to create ideas for advertisements. My day-to-day job is to create ideas for different branding executions and things like that, right? So I can use generative AI to create or prompt generative AI with different use cases, with different designs that helps me to create ideas for my marketing campaigns. One of the example can be, let's say I am a marketing, so I'm just prompting that I am a marketing manager and I need to create a branding strategy for Coca-Cola in a rural town of India. What or can you provide me with some ideas, right? So here what GPT will do, it will give me an entire article sort of that I can read, I can summarize it, and I can add those pointers into my uh, planning, my brand strategy, my branding campaign, and things like that, right? It is even giving me campaigns also. For example, simple campaigns can be campaign 1, Coca-Cola हर घर में खुशियां, right? Campaign 2, ठंडा मतलब Coca-Cola, right? So these kind of catchy uh, slogans also it is giving me, and I can utilize these. I can utilize this content that it has created for me to go ahead and create my brand campaign, right? So the first learning that everyone should have is to become a prompt engineer. Now, all of this, what I am doing is because but is because I know how to use the tool, and to use this tool, the first role that comes into my mind that everyone will go ahead is will be your prompt engineer. Now, what is a prompt engineer? Does anyone knows? Prompt engineer.
Is it writing the correct prompt to get the required output?
Yes, sort of, yes. Now, prompt engineer is a person who knows how to get right information from the GPTs or from any generative AI model. So that is one of the latest, and I'll say one of the finest career that is coming up. And I'll give you one example of how we are leveraging, or how I'm leveraging a prompt engineer. There was a use case where for a customer, we have to develop a solution, and that solution was for to create logos. And what customer wanted was that anytime. It's a logo, basically it's a logo company which develops logos. Now their designers were taking a lot of time, they were running out of ideas, so they needed a solution where they can just type in some random keywords, and through that they can get logos. But when we tried those random keywords, the GPT or DALI model was not able to perform at best. And the reason was that GPT or any kind of generative AI algorithm needs specific information what exactly you're looking for. So what we did is we added a layer in between. Now this is layer number one, where user is going to be those design engineers, right? They will prompt, or they will just add some random words here. Through this will further go into a fine channel. Now here there is a lot of prompt engineering happening. Prompt engineering on what? Prompt engineering on these random keywords, right? And that goes to your GPT. And then this GPT further understands this prompt engineered code and gives back the output to user as images, right? The customer really loved the solution, and it was only a case of, that where we had APIs for DALI, we have APIs for customer environment, we have APIs for, what are we created the solution where basically a customer or a user will go ahead, put random words, random words will be read by model in between, and that model is nothing but a sort of brain which takes those keywords, converts into a proper fine prompt, and then further passes it on to your GPT models create those images. It can be 5 images, it can be 10 images, and then pushes it back to the user, and this is happening within fraction of seconds, right? So prompt engineering is becoming one of the most required jobs now, or career, where you need to use the customer information, convert into a prompt, and then do it. Now, this task is also not manual. A prompt engineer, and basically, for instance, my team is automating this entire task, right? But for these people who know how to actually prompt GPT in a very proper manner, it becomes a very good skill, because all of these people who are, like, say, functional consultant, marketing consultant, or a business research person, they can use this skill to prompt GPT and get the output out of it, right? So that is one path. Now next path is the programming path, where you are developing solutions using Gen AI, right? So here you would need strong programming skills, and I will talk more about what kind of programming skills are required. Familiarity with machine learning and creative and problem solving skills, right? Now, one of the other solutions that we were developing for one of the customers is that they wanted a solution, excuse me, where the user just prompts prompts in the sense that provides the keywords, and once the keywords is prompted, the solution goes to the generative AI, takes the information and passes on that information to the user, and that is specific for your infrastructure industry, right? So for instance, there is a issue, and that issue is, let's say, my CPU is at 100%, right? And I am a new person who wants to fix it. So I'm going to prompt that CPU is at 100%, what I need to do, right? Take that prompt, convert into a proper API, proper prompt engineering, go to the ChatGPT, take inputs from ChatGPT as, what should the steps that this person should take. Also write shell commands, or any kind of commands that the person can run on the console, and then after that, uh, sort of give that entire output to the user, right? So that is another solution that we specifically developed for one of the customers, where we needed very good programming skills. And when I say programming skills, this is here where comes your API skills in place. So another skills that I will suggest everyone who is looking into becoming a software developer in the field of generative AI and data science should acquire is your API skills. How APIs work, how you can write APIs, how can you connect with different data sources using APIs, right? So that is another programming skill, strong programming skill, which requires your, strong API skills to be that you should have. I'll quickly show the
Sir.
example that
Yeah,
I
somebody, I think it's Viswaraj Chaudhary is asking, what about using of LangChain, like in your case, for when you used API and programming skill?
yeah, we can use
Viswaraj
LangChain as well.
Chaudhary,
Yes, we can use LangChain as well. So for instance, I'm prompting here, my CPU is 100%. What should I do to reduce it, and what commands can I run? This is a very vague way to do it. We have more structured way to do it, right? So the GPT gives me all the information that I have. For instance, I have not specified which server it is. So it is going to tell me that Windows, what I'm going to do, Linux, what I'm going to do. And then after that, it gives me commands as well, what commands I can run to fix that issue, right? Now, this entire thing becomes automated. Nothing is being done manually. You can just imagine the click of button, my server CPU space come down after running this command, right? So that is one of the solutions where, or use cases where we would need very strong programming skills for a person to go ahead and solve it. So key takeaways from this one is, whatever career path that you are planning, if you're planning only to become, let's say, a business development person, consultant, business research analyst, or you're looking for a more functional role, then at least you should have your prompt engineering skills, so that you can utilize the power of GPT in your work. And let's say if you want to become a programmer, uh, you want to be someone who wants to work with programming, who wants to work with uh, developing solutions, then you should have strong programming skills. The rest can be learned over time, but very strong programming skills, which would require knowledge of APIs. Full stack development will be that is something which is right now everyone is asking for, or at least I know many people who are hiring full stack developers to become and train them to become full stack data scientists, right? So these should be your career priorities if you are really looking for uh, to develop a career in this area. Okay.
I have query.
Mhm.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what if like a person who is already like 10 to 15 years of IT experience,
Mhm.
though not in the area of data science, but related fields,
Mhm.
and if we want to transition into the data science, like as a manager, so what skills? I think he should have knowledge of all that which you mentioned, but is there anything specific he should strive for or look to add in his profile to work as a analytics manager or a manager for a data science team?
Yes. So when you're talking about analytics managers, right now, there needs to be, or the industry is going in a way that the managers are hands-on, When I say hands-on means at least they can code, they can do research part, right? For example, I am a manager, and what I do is my team works on developing the solution, but whereas at the same time, I also take the data and try to create different models and see that which model is fitting best for the given data set, and then guide my team to make sure that we use the right model. So a very good understanding of machine learning techniques, a good understanding of what kind of model will come. Because as a manager, you will not only handle your team, you will handle the customer also. And I'll give you one recent example. One of the customers came to me saying that I need generative AI and I want generative AI to solve this problem use case. Then I have to go back and explain him that this is not a generative AI problem. You can't use large language models for that specific problem. What you need to do is this problem can be solved by automation rather than solving it by generative AI. So that kind of discussions you should be much aware of what kind of problem requires what kind of solution, how that solutioning can be done, and what are the tools and techniques that you will use to develop the solution, right? So if you
Okay.
have command in these three areas, it is not important that you have a hands-on.
Mhm.
For instance, like you will work as a solution architect. Think of that as yourself as a solution architect, right? That you are collecting the problem statement from the user or from the customer, designing that what solution will be best fit solution for that problem statement, and then further going ahead and ask your team to design that solution for you, and then helping your team to think in lines of what should be the best option available. Can we go ahead with, let's say, llama 2 or GPT-4? Again, basing on the cost, which one will you will select as the best model? What API is good? You need to have a REST API in place, or you need to have a fast API in place. What will be the drawbacks of it, right? What will be your ethical consideration or your responsible AI considerations, which I'm going to discuss in later part, is that, what you are going to consider in those areas. Are you going to have a Google DLP, which is one of the solutions to make sure that your data is safe in place, or you are going to use OpenAI guardrails, right? So these things are something which you should be aware of so that you can guide your team and mentor your team.
Got it. So what, see, we do have projects in this course, but what if someone who does not have exposure to this, what should he do to get exposure of this tools what are mentioned? What can he do? If-
I will suggest, or like how I learned,
Hmm.
because this entire field is new, so everyone is learning
Hmm.
at their own pace, right? What I did is I took my own project,
Okay.
and then end to end I developed the project from scratch.
Mhm.
So my problem statement that I took was that how can I automate developing Python pipelines, right? And what should be my considerations in that? So starting from creating the prompt, to creating your API connections, to testing those API connections, and then checking out that what should be my legal considerations, what should be my responsible AI considerations. Over the 3 months, I learned a lot about everything that to launch that product into the market, that I need to think about to launch the product to the market. And I went back again. I think I have used 3.5, I have used 4, I have used 4.0 now, I'm using 4.0 now. Always I go back to ChatGPT and prompt GPT in a way that they start asking questions to me, that how can I make that solution more uh, more customer friendly, plus at the same time it should be following all the legal and responsible AI norms. So take your own project. Yes, the project in the course will help you to learn the fundamental skills that are required, but if you take something of your own, then you will learn it from the scratch.
Got it. Thanks for the info.
Thank you, Pawan. Okay, So I will move to the next chart. Now, career paths in generative AI, which is the main topic which we wanted to talk about. And I know I have 20 minutes only, so I'm not going to speed up. This is very important. As I have mentioned, there are multiple paths, but here you have to decide that which path you want to take. Now, the first one that we discussed was, right, research and development, which includes your functional roles as well, right? Which includes your functional roles as well. Here you are not going to train anything. This is something which you are going to, the most important skill that you want to learn here is your prompt engineering. And one important thing that I'll tell, each GPT is having a different structure of prompt engineering. So for this, how many of you are aware of deeplearning.ai? Are you guys aware of deeplearning.ai?
Yeah.
Deeplearning.ai. Go to deeplearning.ai and they have short courses.
So is it by Andrew NG?
Andrew NG, exactly. So they have short courses. These courses are free of cost available, right? They have recently released multiple series uh, on your prompt engineering, right? There is one 2-hour course on prompt engineering for GPTs. There is one on prompt engineering for Llama. Llama is a model by Meta, Facebook. Okay. So Claude, they have not released. So for Claude, what you have to do is go to Claude website and there is a write-up article on prompting the Claude models, right? So you can use that. But mostly your work will be done with the GPTs and Llama, right? So the skill that you have to acquire to become a research and development functional roles is to do prompt engineering, okay? I'll come to the data science part later. The product development part, as we discussed, right? Learn programming. At least, and in programming, what you need to know is you should have a very good command on Python, right? You should have a very good, I'll say, not command, but you should know at least how the APIs work. And if you know these two parts, right, you're sorted. Then you can further go ahead. You don't need to design, like you don't have to, you will for sure, wherever you will work, if you're not not going to be an entrepreneur, you will have some person who will work on the front end, you will have some person who will work on the UI design, but at least a good knowledge of Python and APIs will help you to create the solution, right? So this is going to be a must if you're going to become a product development person, anything related to your generative AI. Data science piece. Now, this is where you are going to train. That means that you are going to train your large language models. I'm just talking about generative AI. Obviously, if you're at a level of training large language models, you will be able to train other models as well. Now, this is where you need to learn your skills related to deep learning, your skills related to, you should be very much aware of your transformer model, and you need to know the loss curves, loss function, and you need to know about how you are going to fine tune the model. So this is a hardcore data science problem if you're going to develop a large language for a specific use case, right? Because not every company is going to spend money on using the large language models directly from the source. Two reasons to it. One is security. we are not aware what these LLMs are trained on or what these GPTs are trained on. We are not aware. And they are on, the companies are also not disclosing, which is the most important discussions that we are having. Or for example, I am having in my all my architecture review boards. Every company is now forming an architecture review board for, we call it as AI ARB. And the most of the time we are discussing about that how safe, secure is the solution that you have developed. Is there any data which is going from your company to the large language model, which can be OpenAI, Claude, Llama, right? The data should not go from here to there. So how safe is my customer data? How safe is my data, right? And that's where we start training our own models. Okay, fine. We have a use case. How much data we have? We have ample of data available. Let's train our own large language model. And that is where your data scientists come in picture, who know how to develop a large language model, how to train a large language model, right? So I hope this makes you all clear about the different paths that we have in generative AI. Any questions on this one?
Yes, sir. So when we train our own large language model, just like we're seeing many companies do, so
Mhm.
what kind of, so do they use their own hardware or is
Yes.
it?
Yes. So not on hardware, it is mostly on cloud. Oh, that brings to a good point that if you're trying to become a product development person here or a data science, right? For these two, you should have at least one cloud knowledge. Pick one cloud. It can be uh, Azure, or it can be AWS, or it can be Google, GCP, we're certified practitioner, right? Pick one cloud and learn at least one cloud. For Azure, it is AI 900, which is fairly very easy. AWS, we have to check, but they also have AI 900 is something which I know for Azure, and Azure is mostly widely used. So to answer your question, no, they don't have their own hardware, but they have access to models on Azure or AWS or GCP. That's where you can train your model. So basically, you need a lot of GPUs here to train your model, right? And without GPUs, you will not be able to train your model. So what we do is we have cloud available, and we take the model when we are going to train the model, and every data pre-processing and everything is done. Then we create pipelines on cloud to train the model. Does that answer your question?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir, good evening.
Yeah.
Actually, for beginners, I just want to know what is the API, sir, because that has been repeatedly discussed, but I am not aware what actually is this API for just beginners, sir.
Okay, no issues. Thank you for asking that question. So think of API, and I really don't remember the full form because every time in work we use APIs also. It's a good one, right? One second, let me check.
Application programming interface.
Application programming interface. Exactly. Thank you so much. Us in everyday work, we just say API, 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 and we like we continue to forget that what exactly it is, right? So I'll give you a quick example. Let's say, one second. There is a computer A, right? Here is computer B, and there is an application running here. And this application, let me say it is, let's say GitHub. This is GitHub. Okay. And this application is, let's say, this is your system or your solution that you're preparing. And then there is your, let's say, a testing lab environment. Okay. Now, I'm creating a solution to collect all the automations that are available on GitHub, right? So I have GitHub API. through which I'm searching that what are the different automations or codes that are available on GitHub, pulling it here, and then taking one specific use case and going to test it here. Now to join all of this, what we do is take APIs. API is nothing but keys. So GitHub will give me one key. Here testing lab will give me one key, and that I'll combine in my system, in my computer, and then the data flow will start. Okay, fine. These I'll search in GitHub that what are the different solutions or automations that are available. I'll take it from there. I will check which one to test. I'll send it to the testing lab. Everything is happening over the system, right? So APIs are usually to connect different applications, different systems to create the data flow. Now,
Thank you very much.
okay.
Hello.
Yes.
So actually, I'm an AI artist. I run Stable Diffusion locally, and I was just out of hobbies. I was just freelancing through Patreon and Fiverr.
Okay.
But I'm looking for a good platform to actually use these skills. So this is where I'm lacking. So are there any good freelancing platforms for this?
I need to check that because even I'm not aware of your freelancing platforms where you can go ahead and
I just generate images. That's all using Stable Diffusion.
yeah. We just can we connect offline with them sometime?
Oh yes,
And
sure.
Yeah, you can just
Yes,
ping me on LinkedIn, and then we can connect offline and see.
sure. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions on career paths? I know I've dumped a lot of information, but feel free to ask me.
Yeah. So it might be very specific to me, but as I already discussed on this requirement for the manager, so I'm also looking for opportunities as an analytics manager in the data science field. So if you want to apply for Kyndryll, so how to look out for those opportunities?
These opportunities are mostly available on the career website. That is one. And second thing is, if try to connect over LinkedIn with different people who are already into the field, start following them, or start sending them poll emails to check out if there are any opportunities within their teams. Basically, your target audience is associate directors, or senior managers who are already in the field, into the AI and data science field. Second is you can start networking through your different programs that takes place, like you have these conferences. So you can start going through those conferences and try to network. Network plays a very vital role in finding your next role for uh, your next career path. So networking, and obviously LinkedIn networks. And I'm not sure how your Naukri and all are performing nowadays, because most of the hiring is happening through LinkedIn. So that will be the good place to start with.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, there is one term which is going very high called AI agent. Can you give some
AI?
brief? Agent.
AI agent is nothing. AI agent is your, how to put it? See, all of these are same thing. So don't get confused. Chatbot, bot, AI agent, Gemini agent, or your GPT, Copilot, all of these are same thing, basically environment where in the backend there is your transformers which are available, and on the front end, on the UI side, you are either able to talk, you are able to show video, you are able to text through prompt, and you are getting answers using that environment. Recently Gemini released Astra. They didn't release, they just demoed Astra. Now Astra is an AI agent where you can just show it images through your camera, and what it will do is it will tell you that what exactly it is, right? Similar way, 3 days or 4 days back, GPT released your GPT 4.0, which is, now 4.0 is also having capability where it can hear your voice and it can process your voice and it can give you the output. For example, I asked GPT to teach me Gaussian curve like I am a 10-year-old. And it actually gave me a very nice story about candies and how candies are stacked and things like that, right? So AI agent is nothing but a sort of, entire environment, I'll say, which uses generative AI or which uses AI.
Got it, sir. Thank you.
So your whole attention should be on the backend technology. You all are going through a data science program at different stages of your career, but the more you learn about the backend technology, the more you will prosper in this area with fundamentals and fundamentals in your programming language, fundamentals related to your APIs, fundamentals related to your cloud. If these three things you have kept check, it's very certain that you will get opportunity in your generative AI and AI space, because demand is huge. Every day there are multiple openings that are coming up, and especially like how the generative AI piece is picking up, there's going to be a huge demand in future as well, right? And huge demand in all of these areas: research and development, data science, and product development. More demand is going to be in product development because companies want to harness the strength of these models into their solutions. And when you're product development, like when you're let's say Pawan asked, right, that he wants to be a manager, he should focus on becoming a manager for a product development company where he can harness this technology, at the same time create a safe, secure solution with all the fundamentals related to responsible AI in place, so that the solution is not going to hamper anything for customer, but provides a lot of leverage to the customer and to the company. I know we are just, so can I take another 5 minutes?
Sure, you can.
Yeah, can I ask one question?
Yes.
If
Yes, Roshan.
yeah, myself Roshan actually. So I am working as a Java developer from past 9 years. So
Nice.
I have a strong programming skills, but I don't have any strong basis of the data science. So I want to transition in data science, but I have some scareness whether I will be, it will be sound good for my career, or I have to start from beginning. So can you guide me in this way?
Roshan, it's going to be a cakewalk for you, first of all. So that will remove your fear that you have to move into the area of data science. You are already a Java developer, right?
Yeah,
And you would have already worked with APIs. You would have already worked with how the solutions are created,
yeah, correct.
right? So now, if you are able to learn the skill of data science, that means that whatever is your current package, you are going to add 3 to 4x to that package. Believe me.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you an example. Recently, we had a challenge. We were creating a solution, and I had to form a team, and we were not having the required skills. And in which one of the skills was full stack development. You might be aware of that, Roshan, for sure,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I am full stack
You
only.
are a full stack, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, we hired a full stack from outside and trained him in data science, so that and the timelines were pretty stringent. So that full stack came in and he understood that how exactly we are developing the models. I developed the model, he put the model into the solution, and then after that we were able to roll that product in I think 3 months, not more than that, right? The MVP, not the product, right? So if you
Yeah.
are a full stack and you harness the skill of data science, there is a very lucrative career in front of you.
Okay.
And you should start, as I mentioned, you start with the basics. Learn the machine learning first, move to deep learning, and from there move to your transformers. That should be your path.
Yeah, I started from Java only. So, and learning machine learning, using the Java only.
Yeah.
I have some knowledge on the Python also, but I have some scaredness about using the Python because first time I'm using the Python. So little bit I have doubt that whether I will be so success in this field of data science and deep learning, or whether I should jump here or I should retain in my career itself. But the thing is that one question I have in mind that I should go. Another question is telling I should be stick to our field, but I am learning the new things. So first I should get the project. First I will be hands-on experience on the data science. Then I should jump, or uh, before I should jump in data science, what should I do?
No, I think first you should at least spend some 3 to 4 months on covering the foundations. Because if your foundations are not clear, you will face challenge in the project, which is not a good way. First learn, and then go ahead and then start looking for roles that you are a Java developer, you know Python as well. And believe me, it's going to be a cakewalk for you to learn Python, because Python is way easy than Java. The core concepts remain same. Your functions, your classes, the oops concept remains same. So there is nothing challenge, but you will find easier to code in Python rather than Java. And most importantly, learn how to develop models, how to fine tune models, uh, how to sort of make sure that those models are part of your production pipeline. If you are able to learn that skill, right, then it is going to be very easy for you. So that's a first learn, and then after that, try. You will easily jump from current role to your data science role.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you. Any more questions? I think one person has raised his hand, which is Kiran Kumar.
Hey, hi, Sopin.
Hi.
First of all, thank you. Thank you for taking your time and sharing this amazing knowledge. So, I have a background in data engineering, a little bit of background. So I have few questions regarding. I have been to some of the articles were saying like AI will take over the data jobs that are like data related. That would be my first question. Do you foresee any such scenarios or use cases in future? And the second question would be like, do we really need to focus on learning the language? Because in the chat GPT or in the prompt engineering world, everyone can be using a correct prompt will get right answers, right, in the using any of the AI tools. So should we focus on learning the language, or should we focus on how to implement the I would say use case? I'm not putting the last one correctly, but yeah.
Okay, I got it, I think. So the first question is answer is outright no. The GPTs or the models that are currently available, though they have programming skills available within, that means I can prompt for a code and I can get a code from, let's say, ChatGPT or any other generative AI model. But the challenge is we would always need a data person to manage the quality of the data that cannot be articulated by GPTs. We would never, it will, right now it is not in a condition to create pipelines. Right now it is not in condition to create, I'll say, solutions. So yes, it can code, but it cannot create an end-to-end solution. We need a data engineer. For instance, in my team, I have one data engineer, I have two full stack developers, I have one data scientist, and on top of that, one second, and on top of that, I have one a data visualization expert, right? Plus an UI UX team sits at CIO that helps us to develop the UI and UX for design, right? So we have all these teams, and these teams are going to be core for the entire solution that we do. So the jobs are not going to go away. The jobs are going to become more efficient with the use of this tool. So what you need to learn is how to use these tools. And that's where right now in the UI prompt, you can put anything, you will get the answer. But when it comes to solutioning, right, at solutioning part, you need to be very specific. I'll give you one use case. I'm not sure if you're aware of automation, like how automation works, but
Yeah, I'm aware
okay,
of it.
you're aware. Okay. And are you aware of Ansible automation, which is
Yeah,
on, yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
most of the, yeah, Ansible, Terraform.
Terraform, right?
Yeah.
Now for that piece, we need YAML coding. Why YAML? YAML is a type of
Yeah,
coding.
I'm aware of
Yeah.
YAML. It's just
Yeah.
the
Right.
format of the file.
Now, GPT is able to create YAML code for. It is, if we prompt it, it can give us the YAML code. But to get the right YAML code out of GPT, we need a lengthy prompt engineering. For here, in this case, we use chat completion as one of the prompt engineering techniques to get the YAML code out of GPT, right? And then we use that small snippet into our solution and create an entire pipeline which generates the automation codes, right? So when we have such use cases, it is important that we have data engineers as well. It is important that we learn the technique of how to prompt. Anything that we prompt, it might give us a good answer, but when it comes to solutioning, designing a solution, that will not be enough, right? So I hope I have answered your question, right? That we would need both the data jobs are not going to go away. And second thing, yes, we would need skills as prompt engineer to make sure that we use the technique. And if you're a developer, go ahead with the foundations and the basics, and then learn from there.
Yeah. So thank you. Yeah, my question was for. I think recently I have saw like one of the. I forgot the name of the software that claimed to build the end-to-end solution.
Devin,
Right?
it was a fluke. It was fluke.
Okay, it was fluke, and
It
yeah,
was fluke. It was a big fluke for funding. They
but
did it.
somehow the idea to portray that it can be done, it just, I don't know. It's not currently exist, but someone might take that as a prototype and then might develop in future. That's what I'm kind of thinking. Yeah, that's why I asked this question. And the second one was mostly focused on, like, yeah, you have answered. We will be using the GPTs, Gen AI, for the prompt engineering. But let's say if I am a newbie or anyone who doesn't know, right? Let's, for example, someone with experience in a different technical background who is my shifting to, he knows how to implement things but he don't know how to code the things, right? In that case, he should using this Gen AI tools, it will be easier for them to understand the code and then integrate in their solutions.
Exactly.
So we don't need to focus completely to learn from the scratch. We can utilize this one in order to excel or in order to complete our use cases. That's
exactly.
I was thinking. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And one point that I want to add here, the cost of getting such end-to-end activities by a system is very high. It's very, very high. Believe me, the per month cost of a basic cloud environment goes around $25,000. And you can imagine, convert that into Indian rupees, and you will see that that's very costly. So when it comes to creating such solutions, right, that will depend on how the company wants to invest in such large projects, and they need to have human interface always available. And if you are a one person who has learned that how these things work, then you will be on top of your career. The companies will always look for people who can change job role and move to a newer role, rather than person uh, who is not having knowledge of latest technologies, right?
So
I know
actually, I
we
have a
are.
personal question of
Yes,
mine. I will ask the last question.
sure.
So like I'm going to ask a very general question. Like in this degree, we are being taught about, I guess, transformers, deep learning, neural networks. So like how should a student prepare for this career? Like what should he do during his student period, and like when he is about to transition into being a fresher in the job market, what should he think of? Like what should be the mindset and what should be prepare himself for?
If you are a student, do a lot of internships. Try to do internships in the ISB Bangalore. They provide a lot of internship on the field of data science, neural network, neural link, and all the stuff, right? Do a lot of internships. That internships will give you a lot of insights. They will into how a data scientist, a data analyst, or going to be a this profession is going to expand into the field of your AI engineer should work. So my first request to all the students, that don't get dependent on the course itself. Make sure that you are learning different things and you're doing a lot of internship and projects. Now this is the time for you to go ahead and develop your own startup here. Like there was one person who pinged, right, that he is a freelancer. Start doing freelancing. Who is stopping you? You have the entire time available with you, right? Go and just take your access to your GPTs, invest some money there and start developing your basically I'm saying API access, right? Get an API access for one of the GPTs and start exploring that how you can create a new product out of it, right? Or go ahead and start looking for ping different people on LinkedIn and try to get internship opportunities. Look for as many as internship opportunities. The more internships that you do, the more projects you do that you are able to showcase on your profile, the better jobs you will get and the better skills you will develop. Make sense?
I
Okay,
guess that's all
just
we are now.
yeah, we are on
Going
top
on
of the
to
time. I just want to spend 2 minutes on something which
Excuse me, sir.
is,
May I ask you
yeah.
a question, sir?
Can you give me just 2 minutes and after that I'll
Okay.
take that question?
Okay, sir.
Thank you so much. One major important topic, and I'll share this PPT with you also that you can go through the remaining charts, but one important topic that you all have to consider and keep it like on your fingertips is the ethical consideration. The models are trained on open data and they don't always provide right information. So if you are a user of the information, always go ahead and vet the information, check with reliable sources. Second, if you are a developer, then make sure that, I think I'll just give 2 words to that for a developer to read about. One is Google DLP and another one is Open AI guardrails, right? You have to make sure that you learn how to incorporate this into your solutioning. Else, there will be a question on how responsible your solution is. So just make sure that you learn about the ethical considerations. There are a lot of LinkedIn courses. There are a lot of not YouTube. There are a lot of courses. Basically, I follow LinkedIn courses. So a lot of content available on ethical AI, on responsible AI. Go through that content and make sure that you understand. These are one of the most boring stuff for a developer. But believe me, when you're sitting in front of a architecture review board, these things will help you out. Okay, that was my last point that I wanted to make. And you can follow me on LinkedIn. You can share your invite on me on LinkedIn. I'm very active there. If you have any questions, queries, you can post it there. I think Lakshmi, Madhi, you had Narayana, you had one question.
Yeah. Actually, I'm working in a manufacturing public sector. Uh, Actually, it was already 9 years. In this public sector, there is no much growth is there. So I decided to move to either some programming or some data science field. So I joined this. Actually, I have almost yet to complete this programming, data science in programming. Uh, in this manufacturing field, right now we are working on this PLC programming. Means it is like ladder logic, and it is also similar. When I have learned this Java, I have recently learning Java. Then I understood that whatever we are doing in PLC, it is almost similar to the Java programming, just like front end, back end, and similar to in Java, object oriented programming language is there. In this PLC also object orientation is there, but the naming was not being used. That's all. Similarly, whatever the same technologies you're using. But if I started moving from this field to another field, means it was like the resume will be like worker in the non-tech background, and it is like a manufacturing sector. It was not like to the moving sector. In this case, again the package it will be like I would be like a fresher. In this case, what would be the best option in order to cope up in this field also?
You are not a fresher, first of all. Okay. You come with a functional understanding. If you remember, or I think everyone would have seen that Venn diagram, which talks about different roles. So for example, this is one circle, second circle. Sorry, my drawing is very bad. We have software engineering here, right? We have statistics here, stats and maths, and this is your functional, right? Now,
yes.
You are an expert of manufacturing.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes,
Now,
yes.
how you can target your different roles? You should target like companies like Ford, Chevron, your companies like all these manufacturing companies which has a data science wing. Now, I'm not sure if you're based out of Chennai or somewhere, but Ford is hiring a lot of functional people who are who can work with data science, right?
Okay.
So though your career has been in a manufacturing trajectory where you're able to correlate your Java with PLC and all these techniques, what you need to convey the message to the end user, that boss, or to the interviewer, that boss, I have knowledge of manufacturing. I know how manufacturing works. I have learned data science, and now I want to explore careers as a consultant data science in manufacturing, or consultant data science in your in vehicle design, in your all of these areas. Different areas are there, right? So that though you have a very constrained market, but you have a really good market for you to tackle. Don't go ahead and join a software company. No, go ahead and join a Ford or a companies which are developing, which are in manufacturing industry, right?
Okay.
Join companies like Shell, for example, right? So these companies will help you to grow. If you start your career with a software company, no, that is not going to help you.
Okay.
Okay. So your target audience is entirely different.
Okay.
Does that make
sir.
sense?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay, so we should now wrap up. I think we have time constraints also. So like I would like to actually thank you, Mr. Swapnil, for like this was a very enlightening presentation. It was a very informative regarding the field of data science. And as a data science student myself, I was very keen and curious. So now I would also like to thank IIC team for coordination and SPC team for facilitating this session. And finally, I would like to thank all the participants for this engaging and exciting questions that you asked. So thank you once again, and I think we should wrap up.
Thank you so much, everyone. You all have a great week ahead.
If you have any further more questions, you can just you can mail at Student Placement Council. We will try to coordinate with Mr. Swapnil further, and we will try to answer your questions from our end too.
And Adarsham, I'll just clean this PPT and send it to you so that you can share it with the audience.
Sure, sure. You should actually leave the your annotations.
I have kept the annotations. The annotations will be available.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was a great session. Yeah. Mahesh sir, can we end the meet?